Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, and today we don't have the set reveal for which I was hoping, but we do have a lovely new promo pack with a lovely new EX, and we absolutely need to have a chat about this. We got Krookodile EX and a new policy. We'll talk about the new policy in a moment. Now, what's really cool about the Krookodile EX, Krookodile is one of those Pokemon that doesn't get love. Never gets the special cards. Or I should say rarely gets the special cards, because I don't know how many of you remember there was an X and Y promo Krookodile EX back in the day, but I would be amazed if many of you remembered this card exists. It was a promo that kind of snuck out, never gets talked about, never saw any play. Did have one previously. Well, now we got another one, which also comes as a promo. Yes, I would like it if Krookodile could actually get a bit of love outside of being a random promo, but you know what? One of those situations, we gotta take what we can get. So let's take it and move on. So what we got from Krookodile here is 320 HP on a Stage 2 EX. Yeah, Stage 2 is asking a lot, I grant ya. But we've got some pretty powerful attacks. We've got 2 energy, 80 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, the Pokemon that was hit by this attack cannot retreat. Oh, okay. And look, we like attacks that stop your opponent retreating. We have a Darkness Pokemon right now that has an attack that stops people retreating. It's the Yveltal from Mega Evolution. Now, admittedly, that's a basic that attacks for 1 energy rather than a Stage 2 that attacks for 2. I grant you, but it's still a very, very nice little attack. It's still one that sees a bunch of play, and it's still one that we should absolutely be considering. Can this be as good? Well, it could be better. Like, we're asking a lot more in terms of energy and evolution and all of that, but that doesn't mean that we can't use this to stop our opponent retreating while getting a bunch of damage on the board as well. For the second attack, though, that's where we can start getting very, very cheeky indeed. Because for the second attack, we're sitting here rocking 140 damage, but if this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached, then it does 280 damage instead. Also, quick reminder, these translations are from me. I do my own translations. I've not actually seen anybody else posting these yet. The lovely Antoine Boulet has yet to post translations as far as I can see, and that's with whom I usually check. But I'm very confident about these translations. I've done it myself. I feel good about it. So, 280 damage for 3 energy is not too bad. And what requirement are we asking here? You whack a tool on. Well, yeah. That is not asking a lot, frankly. Asking to have a Pokemon tool attached is very, very little. So I am absolutely down with this. This is fine to me. I'm seeing this as basically just free energy 280. And there was a point where we'd look at this and go, well, hang on a second. You know, we're still talking free energy here. And yeah, that would have been an excellent point if we didn't have Toxtricity. But we do have Toxtricity. So it's not that good a point anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Toxtricity is a thing. Toxtricity is real. And that means that we can have a good old play around with this. And actually, while we're here, can we also just mention Grimsley's move? Because the pair of these two cards takes something like Krookodile and turns it into a legitimate option in a way that without these cards it might not be. Because Krookodile is a Stage 2, but Grimsley's move says, look at the top 7 cards of your deck and play a Darkness Pokemon you find there. And we know from the FAQ over in Japan, for instance, that it doesn't matter whether it's a basic, a Stage 1, or a Stage 2. Any of them can be played for free using this. Now, you've got to have it in the top 7 cards of your deck, so maybe find a way to put it on top of your deck or whatever, but this basically will allow you to fix this, to make sure that you can play this for free, which is lovely. And yes, obviously we do have Night Academy at the moment, or Academy at Night, which lets you put a card from your hand on top of your deck. That came out in Shrouded Fable. It's going to survive the next rotation. So you absolutely can use this stadium to put Krookodile on top and guarantee that you hit it with Grimsley here. Which firstly means you don't have to muck around evolving up into a stage 2 in the normal way, and secondly means you can actually reduce the number of Pokemon you can start the game with. Just don't play Sandile. And then you can pretty much fix your starting Pokemon, or at least do a much better job of fixing your starting Pokemon, while also having this stage 2 to play around with. And then we've got Toxtricity, who lets you accelerate Darkness Energy from your deck. And sure, you've got to do it at the cost of 2 damage counters, but remember, this is like where Monkey Dory is just having the time of its life. Because Monkey Dory moves damage counters from your Pokemon to your opponents, and it needs Darkness Energy, but you're using your ability to accelerate energy, so your attachment for the turn can go on to Monkey Dory, and then you can use that to move the damage over, and oh, you don't care anymore. All Darkness Pokemon are a million times better than they used to be, because we've got the combination of Toxtricity and Monkey Dory, and then you add in Grimsley's move for Evolution Darkness Pokemon, and you can make this work. Is it the best Evolution Darkness Pokemon we've got around? Maybe, maybe not, but 280 damage, or you can stop your opponent retreating while doing 80, and what you can do, of course, here is hit with the first attack to do 80. Now they can't retreat. They have got 1 turn to get out the active before you hit them for 280, which goes up to 360 total, and that's a KO on basically anything. Grab a Mega EX that doesn't have enough damage to attack, trap them in the active, combine it with something like an Iono to put them down to a low hand size, at least before rotation, and then if they don't grab their switch or whatever right now, they can't retreat, they got a low hand size, so they're unlikely to grab something like a switch, and then you hit them with a second attack, and off you go. I like Krookodile. Could absolutely work. Genuinely could absolutely work. I'm giving this a tentative for War Season. I don't even care. Lovely. Also, for what it's worth, we do actually have a Pokemon Tool card, which is particularly well suited to this and basically every other Darkness Pokemon right now. That Punk Helmet that if it's attached to a Darkness Pokemon and it takes damage from an attack while it's active, yeah, 4 damage counters. Oh! That is not bad, ladies and gentlemen. That is not too bad at all. So, yeah, maybe play around with that. Or Adversity Policy. Yeah, that's right. Brand new Pokemon tool. It is not one we've had before. We've had Blunder Policy and we've had Weakness Policy. This is neither of those cards. I know the second half is Hokken, literally insurance, which in the Pokemon world means policy. So the second half of the card is called Policy. The first half, the best translation I can find is Adversity. So I'm going to call it Adversity Policy unless somebody gives me anything better. And it is a very fitting name. Because what it does is, if it's attached to a Pokemon, if that Pokemon is hit for weakness, if it's hit by a Pokemon that has the same typing as its weakness, you draw 3 cards. Doesn't have to be KO'd. You just have to take damage from a Pokemon who's got the same type as your weakness, and you draw 3 cards? Yeah. This is a weird one, because look, having a tool card that draws 3 is busted. Absolutely busted. But your opponent can remove it, they can play around it, and also there's going to be plenty of games this doesn't work. Like if I whack this on a Krookodile, well, that's all well and good, but if my opponent's not playing any grass Pokemon, it's kind of pointless. I do like the idea of, for instance, sticking this on a Pheasantipti, and then if my opponent's going after Pheasantipti and they're trying to hit for weakness, which, is a lot of the time the easiest way to go about this, well, if they use a fighting Pokemon, they've got to let me have 3 cards. I think it is an incredibly niche card. But essentially, you can play this if you know there's a lot of decks in the meta that are hitting you for weakness, or if you just want to chance it for the opportunity to get a little bit of extra draw. Just bear in mind there will be times this just doesn't work. There will be games this doesn't work, and there's not much you can do about it. Elsewhere, we got ourselves an alternate art Charmeleon. These are all, of course, in this promo pack being given out over in Japan. And it's got T0 artwork. And to be fair, the T0 artwork is absolutely stunning. I think it's better than the original artwork. And I'm not saying the original artwork is bad by any stretch. I'm saying I like this one more. And we've got an alternate art of Toxel here as well. Goes nicely with that Toxtricity. The thing is, the original Toxel was actually done by Okacheke. So, no, there is no way I'm going to like this one more. I prefer the original with Okacheke. And it's worth noting, we don't need to go into detail here, but we do have stamped versions of Hilda, Air Balloon, and the Dunsparce. All very good playable cards, now being reprinted with the Pokemon card gym stamp. We don't need to really talk any more about these. They're the same cards we've had for a while, but now they've got a new stamp. Yay! Cool. There we go. That's what you need to know. So that's the new promo pack. Krookodile EX, absolutely the star here. Adversity Policy, I think, has a real potential, but is going to be situational. And then we got some lovely alternate arts as well. I will be picking up this Charmeleon. I think the artwork is redonk. But I've told you all about this now, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely Zarek Paris, who's been a support of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.